Hello wonderful people, it's Wild here and welcome back to part 6 of Building a Christmas Village series. If you haven't seen the other parts already, make sure you go and check those out. And in today's video, we're going to be having a look throughout this whole village to see how I've decorated every one of our shops. As we wander throughout the village today, I'll give you my tips and tricks for decorating any village space, so that means you can customize this decor to fit your style. I'll also point out how I like to decorate the exterior spaces around the builds, so let's check it out. Let's take a look down this street first, and this is where I've got all of my market stalls. So you can see I've got a fruit and veg store there. We've got a firewood stall, and behind it I've got a pile of timber. What a great detail to add to fill in the space. We've got things like candles and bakery stalls, and we're passing a couple of our shops on the way here. You can also see that I've kept everything tied together with these street lights, and they have a very traditional feel, and I've even put some wreaths hanging off of them. But let's check out our first shop. It is our Northpole Bakery. This is the very first build we created in the series, so let's head inside. Oh, and hello Mr. Rabbit. So this is a smaller shop space, but you can really see that we fit a lot in. So I've created a balance between a shop selling space with this counter here, and then we've got some places to sit by the fire and in the bay window. And I've positioned the shop desk here where we've got all of our lovely cakes and baked goods so that you can see them through this window. One thing you'll notice throughout all of my decorated spaces is that I've used these custom heads. So I've got some bread, a gingerbread house, and some cakes and cookies in this shop. And for a tutorial on how you can get custom heads in your world or on a server, make sure you check out the description below. From outside here, you can see that the colours of the shop are these creams and neutrals, and then we've got traditional red and green. So when we're inside here, you can see I've kept my decor to the same colour palette. The neutrals work really well with the bakery theme and they tie in with the cakes and cookies. And then I've used red flowers as well as some banners to decorate. And looking from above here, you can see the layout that I've got. Of course, I've got lots of things tucked against the walls here, but I've also got stuff filling up the interior of the space, and I've layered decor throughout the height of the space as well. But now that we've checked out the bakery level of this build, let's head back here and head up our ladder to the living quarters. So we're working with the shape created by the gable. So in this smaller section, I've tucked a little dining area. And of course, I've got some hidden storage. It's a great way to make use of small spaces like this. Perfect. All right, if we head into our next space, this is where we've got most of our living area. So I've placed a kitchen along the back wall, as well as a small seating area. And you can see that once again, I've really filled up the space with decor. So we've got stuff on shelves, stuff on walls, and of course we've got a small Christmas tree as well, perfect to fit a small space. We've got one more level for this living area, so let's head up to my bedroom. And again, I've placed lots of decor up here, and since this has a darker feel with the dark coloured roof and this post, I've stuck to light colours for the decor to brighten up the space. When decorating any of your shop spaces or house spaces, it's important to keep in mind the space you're working with. So you need to use smaller furniture in a smaller build and larger furniture to fill up a larger build. And you want to work with the materials around you. So you can see that in this build, I've used plenty of red and green. Let's head back outside now and take a stroll down the street to the next shop, passing by all of our candy themed decor and string lighting. Oh, and before we head inside our toy shop, let's take a wander through this snowy little alcove. I've placed some trees around the backs of these builds, and that's a great way to fill up space. And if we come back here, we've created a little snowball fight scene. So I've got some little icy dens for people to throw snowballs from. I've used some custom snowball heads just to kind of play into that snowball fight effect, and I've really piled up the snow. To fill up the rest of the space behind these shops, I've also added in a small ice skating rink, and adding in decoration like this is a really great way to tell a story. But we're back out to the road now to check out the toy shop. Let's have a look through the shop window first. Oh, you can see how colourful it is. Let's head inside. So since this is a toy shop, I wanted it to feel really fun. So we've got all sorts of colours. I've grounded the space by creating these decorative shelving, and they have a really ornate feel with the archway. And then I've gone ahead and gathered all sorts of toy-themed custom heads. Now, if you don't have access to custom heads like I've used in here, another great idea for this space would be to use it as a banner shop. And you can see that I've even used some of these to decorate the space already. And you can find tutorials for all of these in the description below. The other thing I've done in this area, as it's quite a large shop, is I've added a big tall Christmas tree in the center, and doesn't it look festive? Now if we take a look behind me, we can see our cash register section, and I've created a cash register just using a stair. Then I've got a sign here, and if we head inside, you can see I've put all sorts of details on it. And if we come back outside, I've used another sign for the screen on this side of the cash register. Let's head upstairs and check out how I've decorated this housing space. So we're working in the top of a gable here, so we've got to fill in the gaps at the base with something. I've got some barrels in here, or you could use some bookshelves, and then I've used the very tippy top of the gable to put all my lighting. Since this is a long rectangular room, I've divided it with a little screen like this, created with some trapdoors, and by placing the trapdoors offset, it gives a little bit of texture to them. The other thing you'll notice is that for a lot of the accent colours, I've used some turquoise here, as well as some red, and that ties in with the colours we used in the accents on the outside of the build. So we've got our kitchen area, our living room, and if we head through here, we've got a bedroom and an office space. And remember, you can keep creative with your furniture, so instead of just having a plain bed here, I've got enough space to create a bed frame and a headboard. You could really play into a medieval aesthetic or a cottagecore aesthetic, or any sort of style that you like when decorating these builds, and you can find tutorials for all sorts of styles of decorations on the channel. Alright, let's bid this toy shop farewell and head over to the next shop. I think we're going to head inside the library next, and that's the building at the end of the road here. You can see that on the exterior we have a fairly neutral colour palette with some brown and green, but all of the colour is brought into this build with these wonderfully fun garlands, as well as the books that we've used. And as we head inside, you'll see that the books add just as much colour in here. Now this is a public space, so we've got lots of seating tucked in everywhere, and I've added these tripwire hooks for places to hang your coat. If we come around this side of the staircase, I've created a cozy seating area in front of the fireplace. And I can imagine that this would be a lovely place to sit and read a Christmas storybook. Remember that when you're decorating, not every area has to be practical. Just have a think about what would be a fun place to visit if you were visiting a town. As well as the lounge seating in here, I've created a bench seating in the bay window, and this is a wonderful way to make use of this space. You can also see that I've used some banners to create some cushions, and to do this I simply broke the floor from underneath. I've added in a frog light, so that way all of the banners have a beautiful bright colour, but you could use any lighting, and then I've simply placed the banners in there with the slabs or staircases over here on top. Then we can fill that back in, and it just adds a wonderful pop of colour and softness to your seating. Another thing you can see in this space is that for the bookshelves, I've used a mixture of standard bookshelves as well as the chiseled ones, and that allows me to have these gaps to help break up the big expanse of colour. I've also got some custom book heads in here, and that really helps to add to the story. And you know what? We've got 2 more floors to check out, so let's head upstairs. While downstairs I have some cozy seating areas, up here I've dedicated it to some desks for studying at, and perhaps you could even come up here to write a letter to Santa. You can see that these lecterns are a great way to break up the blockiness of a build, because the books have a very unusual shape, and in these alcoves you can also place things like candles and flowers. Another fun way to break up the blockiness of Minecraft is to create things like this shag rug. By simply adding carpet to only a few of the blocks here, I'm able to achieve a softer effect than if everything was all flat. We've got one more space in this build to check out, and that's the house upstairs, so let's head up this ladder. So up here we're working in another gable-shaped space, so I've tucked some bookshelves and barrels down here as well. I've stuck to my format of making sure I have a kitchen space, a living room, and behind there we've got a small bedroom. But for here I've customized it for the library by using some book themed decor. You'll see that through all of my kitchen spaces, I've used these smokers for my cooker. And that's because they have this wonderful fiery effect when you place things inside. Well, now that we've checked out this space, let's head underneath these banners and check out the bedroom. And banners are a really great way to break up these spaces. So this is a smaller area, but you can see I've created a little bed with some bedside tables. And on this side, I've got another lectern for my desk. Tucked in this small corner, I've used a Christmas tree banner and I've placed a present beside it. Another thing you can do is to use some coloured boots like this for stockings. A perfect place to leave a present. Whatever space you're decorating in your village, don't be afraid to get creative and use things for unconventional uses. I mean, using boots as stockings is a fantastic example. We're ready to head down our next street now, so let's check out our Christmas decor store. And if we look through the shop window, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. If we head inside, we've got our front desk with a cash register, and here I've used all sorts of decorations. So we've got our custom heads, as they're a great way to decorate again. I've got Christmas banners in here, and I've used some custom Christmas decor like this snow globe and a Christmas tree. And for some more Christmas decor, you can of course check out my Christmas decor video. I've placed all sorts of signs around my shop here, telling you all about the things being sold, and I've placed some prices. Now of course you're probably not going to be selling these for real, but adding these sort of things adds to the story. Another example of decor that I've got in here is using some chains along with these banners to make a banner rack. And if you are going to be dedicating one of these shops to a banner store, you could have a whole load of these throughout. Now throughout the whole village, I've used a mixture of lanterns and candles to light up my spaces as they have a wonderful warm glow. And if you're in creative, you can type the command /Minecraft :give followed by your player name. So in my case, I'm a wild one, and then Minecraft :light, and that's going to give you a light block. And this is a really great way to add a little bit of illumination, so I'm going to add a couple around this Christmas tree to give off the effect that the candles are glowing. And you can see that when I let go of the block, the blocks disappear and you just have the light. So now that we've decorated down here in the shop, let's head upstairs to check out this house. So for this house, we've used all sorts of red blocks, lots of mangrove, and it has a really warm, cozy feel. That's added to by the wonderfully cozy fire that we have over this side, which you can sit in bed and observe. This build has wonderfully high ceilings, and I've taken advantage of this by hanging lanterns from there. I've tucked some books at the top, and I've placed my shelves and banners up quite high in here. And so that we can appreciate this really spacious interior, I've kept all of my decorations quite light. So for this screening, I've used the semi-see-through mangrove trapdoors, and I have kept the floor plan relatively open. I'm back outside now, and as we walk over to our next shop, let's check out some of this exterior decor. Over on this side, I've used some string lighting to frame a seating area where I've got a little bench seat as well as some bench seats surrounding, and I've used some bushes to frame this area as well. Over on the other side of here, we've got our town centre, and that's where I've placed my Christmas tree. You can see I've used a mixture of different decorations, and another fun way you can decorate a tree like this is using some item frames. So you can see that I've added in some of these glow item frames, and I'm using these so that way you can really see the decor I'm placing in them. I've selected a few different items. I'm using harder to see, but in survival you could switch that out for something else, as well as some redstone dust, some glowstone dust, and some slime balls, and I'm adding these in as some baubles. Got a couple more to add, and you can see I'm trying to avoid placing the same color next to one another. That means that you really get to see all sorts of colors from wherever you look. I think we've got all of our decorations covered. We've got one more up here. Let's add in a slime ball. And we've got one more up the top here, and I think we could have a heart of the sea up here. And that looks great. You can see I've also used some end rods, and they make great candles because you can actually place candles on top of leaves. As for underneath the tree, you could use some custom heads or create custom presents like these. And I've got a tutorial on how to create these in the description below, but you can see that I've just placed some water in the slab to keep these bows alive and then used some custom banners, and it has a really colourful effect. And if you're on a whirl with friends, a really fun idea is to add a shulker underneath here. That way you can place some presents inside. And on Christmas Day, all your friends can go ahead and open up their presents. Let's check out our next shop building, and I think we're going to head inside the inn next. So this is a nice big build in our village, and we've got plenty of room to decorate, so we're just going to check out a few. The first thing you see when you walk in is of course the reception, and adding fun signs like this, complimentary breakfast and sleigh rides, is a really great way to give you lots to look at when you're exploring. Of course, I've got some keys hanging up back here, and we've got some shelving and storage. Now I've decorated all of these areas like this passageway as community spaces, so I've placed in some seating, and we've got a little table at the back. And I've gone ahead and placed lots of Christmassy themed decor around. Especially in a narrow space like this one, which is only 3 blocks wide, placing decor on the walls like this is a great way to make the space feel full, while still allowing you plenty of room to walk through. Now let's check out our guest rooms. You can see that I've labelled each of my guest rooms with a different sign. So we've got a present room and a candy cane room, and you could have some different themed rooms upstairs. Let's head into the candy cane room first. So for this small room, I've used a candy cane to decorate in line with its theme. We've got a bed, a wardrobe, and a little chest of drawers over here where I've used a custom sign to decorate this barrel. These decor items are the key things you need to include in an inn guest room like this, and I've even added an armor stand inside the wardrobe to make it functional. As for decor on the walls, I've placed in lots of red and green items, following the format we had out in the communal space, and I've added a clock as well. Let's check out the next room. This room's a little bit larger. So when we head in, we've got the same basic items. We've got our bed, we've got our little chest, and then we've got a wardrobe. But in here, I've got a bit more space, so I've created a seating area. Once again, fitting in with this room's theme, we've got a present banner hanging on the wall, and you can see a lot of the tips and tricks that I've already given you coming into play here. So we've got decor on the walls, we've got our little banner cushions, and we've really filled up the area with decor. Let's leave this cozy inn behind now and check out the next shop. Our next shop is this flower shop, and from the outside you can see the wonderfully colourful greenhouse, as well as the floral shop window. And if we have a look, I've used some of these oak trapdoors to create a shop display with a tiered style. Let's head inside. So of course this space is going to be absolutely filled to the brim of plants, and I've used these same oak trapdoors to create these tables. You can see I've used a mixture of small pot plants like this, larger pots with the decorated pots, as well as these kind of plants where I've created some planters. Another detail you can see is that I've got my little cash register desk here, and I've created a shaggy carpet in a neutral shade below. Oh, and of course we've got some garden tools. From up here you can see the layout that we've achieved, and one thing to keep in mind is the walk flow. So of course you can come in here and then you are drawn around this central table, perhaps into the greenhouse, and then back out again. So you want to make sure your walkways are nice and open. When you come to decorating your flower shop, you could stick to simply Christmas coloured flowers, or you could do what I have done and use all sorts of coloured flowers. It's entirely up to you. One more detail you can include, and this goes for any of your shops, is themed lighting. So here I've created some wall sconce torches, and I've used some leaves to tie in with the theme of this shop. But in the bakery, you could even place some cookies behind here or some bread. Back out into the snow, past our garden tool supplies, over to our next shop. And as we pass that, you can see a couple more stalls over here. We've got a cocoa and coffee stall, and over there we've got some jams and preserves. Another thing you can notice, and I'm sure you have throughout the rest of the village, is that I've got some animals placed around. So we've got some llamas over here with their Christmas coloured coats. There's some bunnies jumping around, and somewhere over there I think there are some polar bears. Let's head inside. This is my Christmas boutique clothing store, and you can see some of the boutique clothing items in the shop window. Inside, it really is an explosion of colour, so I've created these displays of different armours and I've used armour trim to adorn them. I've stuck to mostly Christmas colours, so we've got reds and greens as well as some shades of pink here, as well as some yellow and blue for a little extra pop of colour. And for the armour trims, I've done the same thing. So I've used the emerald, I've used the redstone, I've used some of the quartz, as well as a hint of copper. When you're decorating, have a think about what would be important in that shop. So for this Christmas armour boutique, a change room is important. So I've blocked out this area here for a change room, and inside, you can see that I've added in some of these custom banners as mirrors. I've got a fancy new Christmas hat now, so let's check out the next area of this space. If we head behind this cash register where I've used the same design as in our other shop, you can see that I've created a staff only area, so let's head in. Back here I've used this space for storage, so it's actually where I've got all of my heads for decorating and banners stored, as well as some decorative storage as well, because you can look through the window and see this storage from the outside, so I wanted it to be pretty as well. I've also got access to my shop window here so I can change out my armour seasonally. And this is a really fun way to make use of a space. If you're creating this in survival, this could be a great place to place some actual storage. Let's take a walk back outside now and we're heading to the Candy Cane Cafe for a cup of coffee. You can see for the exterior that we've used a whole lot of red and white for that candy cane feel. We've got the striped banner, we've got the target blocks, and I've added a custom banner here with the candy cane design. Let's head on in. So this is a super cozy build, and for the colour palette I've mostly stuck to red, white and a little bit of pink. We've got some seating in front of the fireplace here. We've got a little couch on this side, and over here is where I have the majority of my seating with tables full of decor. Each of my tables has a different decoration, so we've got flower pots, we've got cups of tea and coffee, and of course we've got our shop bench over here. I've placed cakes and cookies all around this shop, and that really adds to that cafe vibe. And you can even see that I've used cookies as well as cakes as my wall decor. And don't forget when you create your cafe to add in some menus, adding to the story once again. So now you can see how I'd go about decorating this entire village. Remember, when doing any interior, it's just about getting creative and having fun. I hope you've enjoyed this Christmas Village series. If you have, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. See you in another video!